today I'm going to be talking about intimate relationships as a pathway to divinity. Now, I could give reference that I was doing this video a few videos back, and it was something that is actually scary. I disclaimer a lot of these videos to say, take what you need and leave the rest. But for me, talking about these relationships, having past failed relationships and currently being single, does feel a bit scary. But along this path that I've been on, the wisdom gained, the experience, the working with other people, and also, I'm actually putting that intention out there of this is what I know, and this is what I'm bringing forward. So as I said, there's a bit of hesitation about producing this video, but I'm here. So the intimate relationships, pathway to divinity, yes, absolutely. It's that divine partnership of the sacred masculine and the sacred feminine, and it's how they come together, they pulsate together, they evolve each other, and of course, that would be the highest divine partnership, where everything is harmonious. But of course, relationships are always like that. Yes, elevating, but they could also be de-elevating, or they could just be very stagnant and just plodding along. So lots of pitfalls in relationships, and lots of little battles where there doesn't need to be battles. It could be the ego. Is it the ego that's running the show, or is it the heart that's scared to talk? Because both can't do it. It has to be one or the other. And it does take that work. It does take that discernment. It does take, looking at the shadows. There's a lot to actually unravel, which is a beautiful thing, because if you can undo that unraveling whilst in the relationship, you will grow and evolve. So are we striving for that union? Are we putting that work in, day out? Or are we striving unconsciously even for separation and just our own path? So union or separation, where is it we're going with this? Now, in relationships, we all have the honeymoon period. Everything's flowing nicely, and again, talking about addictions a few days ago, the dopamine really is sort of like on a high. It's a beautiful bliss state to be in. Is those early days of a relationship, the whole honeymoon period. But then the wounds start appearing. We start showing our wounds, we start showing our ways and our patterns, and this is where we're saying to one another, do you still accept me with these? Do you fully accept me with these, the way that I am? And by that stage, and again, referring back to addictions, within the first 3 weeks, we're already hooked. and after that honeymoon period starts going in, we start, do we start tolerating, or do we start accepting? Do we start making allowances and blaring our boundaries? Or, are we genuinely in love and however the other person shows up, we accept them? So, yeah, lots to contemplate here. And it's funny, there's the Steiner schools. The Steiner schools see people in a new way every day. So, so it's a case of, I'd walk in as a child. Oh, hi, Mike, great to see you. It's irrelevant that yesterday I spilt paint all over the floor, did what the business in my nappy, was picking my nose all day, and was sick on the teacher. It's irrelevant of all that. It's a case of, I've shown up today as a new person. Hi, Mike, how are you today? Really great to see you. It's that kind of, if we can bring that kind of energy into a relationship and recommit on a daily basis, we're recommitting. We're waking up, it's a new day, this is our way forward. So it's that choice, it's that, it's, relationships are all about choice. That's how we stay in relationships. We choose it every day. We choose to be in love. And it's never about the other person. It's all an inside job. All an inside job, so whatever's reflecting is down to us. So, and also, can we give all these things that we're looking for from the other to ourselves first? Do I commit to me? Do I commit to me? Do I accept me? Am I compassionate to me? Do I understand me? Am I responsible for me? Am I loving towards me? Am I caring towards me? So the hallmark of intimacy is all about being yourself, and having done that inner work and having all those qualities. It's about having commitment in action. It's about having the willingness to do the work. It's about working on the triggers, working on that shadow self. And basically recognizing disharmony in order to master harmony. Then looking at the other, we're actually saying, here, take my heart. What will you do with it when I'm the most vulnerable? Will you, and again, we're not asking this, but well, maybe we are subconsciously, but we're giving them that heart. Now, will they sort of look at it? Will they give it a shine? Will they nurture it? Will they give it all the love? Or will you trample all over it? Very scary to give each other your hearts in that, but yet we do, and we find ways to actually honour the other person. And if we think about it in this way, this is what we're doing. If we are fully committed into that relationship, we are fully giving that heart, and we want it to be looked after. We want it to be polished and shine and cared for, and as we do for the other. And another way of looking at it is I've talked about this inner work, but this is me, myself, and I'm in a relationship with my other self. So self and other self. Can I give my heart to my other self to look after? So we're a mirror, we're a reflection for each other. We are each other's other self. Can we hold space for other self, for their vulnerabilities, for their fears, for their faults, for their weaknesses, for their regrets? Can we hold all of that space for them? And if something stays in the shadows, it never can find the light. So that fear of rejection, that fear of judgment. So mastering the darkness, those fears, those rejections, those judgments, we're mastering those to actually step more into the love and light. So the more that we put the light on the shadows, the more mastery and alchemy takes place in the relationship. And where there's conflict, where there's misunderstanding, where there's tension that may arise, do we choose a situation where everybody wins? Do we, find a win-win-win solution? Do we ask ourselves in this situation, what would love choose? And an analogy, for example, is like ice skating. Every time we fall, we learn. So obviously there's going to be some kind of areas that things aren't running 100%, and it's being able to recognise that as a lesson to learn. So as I say, we fall in ice skating, but we get up and we learn what to do and what not to do next time. Similarly, if we imagine that we're stuck in a hole, we help each other to dig ourselves out that hole. We might need to go further into that hole in order to make that space, in order to ramp it all up, to put the structures in order for it to spiral out of that. So we are there for one another. Self is there for other self. Self is there for other self, as opposed to one of the people just saying, do you know what, I want to find any exit and I'm out of here, and I'm leaving that hole. So yeah, it's about elevation as opposed to de-elevation. In one of the early videos where I talked about gratitude and appreciation, so what is it I fully appreciate about myself? What am I grateful for about myself? I need to be mastering this as well in order to be able to actually give to my other self, because I cannot give what I do not have. So again, there's mastery about appreciation and gratitude. There's a whole conscious communications, what's been said versus what's been heard. So checking in and having those kind of sacred times, that's conscious communication where you get to the bottom of that understanding. And then of course there's things like the 5 love languages. So the 5 love languages are gifts is number one. So gifts is it might be a small token of of appreciation. It might be a little pebble that you found on the beach, which represents a love heart, or something might be more something that you've seen in a little gift shop, or something more extravagant. So gifts is a way of people feeling that love. As are things like number 2, acts of service. So acts of service may be doing chores, washing the car, hanging on the laundry, putting the bins out. And with acts of service, it's the actions that speak louder than the words. Whereas in number 3, words of affirmation, it's the other way around. So it's more about what the words are versus the actions. So it's, you know, those words of affirmation might be how much you're appreciated, what some of the things that you're doing right, how the other person values the other person, what they're grateful for. So people may like those words of affirmation. Number 4 is quality time. So quality time may be a nice meal together. It may be a whole staycation. It may be trying out a new skill like pottery or dance or learning a language, for example. And then the final one, number 5, is that physical touch. So it may be holding hands, those cuddles, you know, the whole kind of skin on skin kind of intimacy with physical touch. That might be your love language. And typically, you know, there'll be at least 2 that are the strongest ones. So I know that for me, those words of affirmation and physical touch, that's what really sort of like, you know, makes me feel alive. And sometimes, you know, if you're not receiving that, but you're giving, there's that imbalance there. So, you know, a tip is really, if you're entering into a new relationship, is to really sort of see, you know, what the 5 love languages are for each one and how you can support that, and whether that's actually in your nature. And you can actually give from that place. So there is the 5 love languages. Type that into Google. There's a test there, and that will tell you what your 5 love languages are. So yeah, the 5 love languages is giving, and part of that giving we're also receiving. And again, it's having that kind of traffic that comes back and forth. You know, we don't just give in order to receive. You know, we give unconditionally, and just by that law of reciprocity, I can't say the word, but giving and receiving, it comes back. So if I value peace, therefore I give you peace. If I value harmony, therefore I give you harmony. If I value acceptance, therefore I give you acceptance. And this way it just mitigates all the battles with other self. So you know, we're always giving, but we're also receiving as well, and we're just keeping that flowing backwards and forwards. So yeah, let me know if there's any other kind of tips or that you works well in your relationship. And as always, please leave any comments, any feedback. Please share the video, like the video, and I will see you on the next video. So ciao for now.